betting sites and whatnot. Oh, obviously, make sure you like the video. If you do like the video and like the video, if maybe you can already guess who's the number one already for the title contender for the 2022 NBA Championship, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's already 2022, then next year, that's crazy. Also, make sure you comment down below maybe some teams you think that are also really good that may have a chance at winning the title. Maybe your dark horse underdog team. Obviously, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are so close to hitting 7.5k for the small little giveaway before. If we do ever hit 10,000 for a much bigger giveaway, at least I'd hope so. And yeah, make sure also you check out yesterday's video. I don't know if you guys just didn't like the video idea or you're just tired of me already, but it was one of my favorite videos I've done in a very long time. It's basically kind of like a game show type of ASMR video where I sort of jumble up a bunch of different NBA players' pictures and you have to guess who they are based off of different facts I give you and stuff like that. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a good idea. Let me know if you'd enjoyed it. If you're going to go watch it, that'd be great. I had a lot of fun watching it, so making it. So, anyways, let's get right into tonight's video. Alrighty, so I'm gonna try to make this kind of a quicker video, just a little bit of a, I don't know, an article, ESPN type of video for you guys, just to catch you up on some of the latest on the experts on how they think the title odds are going so far. So if you don't know about title odds, the bigger number you have in the plus means the, I guess, smaller amount you bet on them, you could win. It's still big. So, you know, obviously if you bet $100 on a really good team, won't give you as much back if you bet $100 on one of the bottom feeders of the NBA, betting on them to win a title. So, the bigger number doesn't make them any better. It means they're worse. You know what I mean? So, they actually have here a couple of grouped teams that I'm just gonna blow by really fast, and then we're gonna go into the more individual players. Individual teams that I can go a little bit in more depth on. So, at I guess the worst title odds, the worst title odd group, I guess, we have here the Orlando Magic, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Detroit Pistons, all at plus 50,000 if they win the title. I think that means, does that mean if they win the title and you bet, say, $100 on them, you'd win $50,000 if they did? I think that's what it means. But anyways, I will agree that probably the Magic, the Pistons, the Rockets probably are the bottom feeders, even though they both have all have gotten, top picks in last year's NBA draft. Definitely pieces and years away from being, even playoff contenders, title contenders very much so. So those ones I do believe in, but maybe the Thunder, you could argue, could be up a little bit higher. Obviously having, an almost all-star already in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and also with the Cleveland Cavaliers, they have Sexton, Garland, they have Evan Mobley now, they have Jared Allen, Kevin Love is still on the team. Hopefully Isaac Okoro can have another sort of good upcoming year, his sophomore year in the NBA. This team I think could be definitely better. I think out of that group, they are the better team, and I think they should be maybe out of that sort of bottom feeder group, I guess you could say. Then we have another grouped up set of teams at plus 25,000, so pretty much half of the other ones. We have the Kings, the Spurs, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wow. This one is interesting. I mean, sure, the Spurs, you can sort of argue that, but then again, with Greg Popovich and the Spurs, they always seem like they're trying to win, even though they definitely should have started this rebuilding process like 2 or 3 years ago, but definitely doesn't look too bad for the Spurs. But for the Timberwolves, out of that group, I think are the better team. I think they should also be a little bit up higher on the list. I mean, we all know that the Timberwolves aren't made for the playoffs just yet, but they could definitely sneak into a play-in spot 1,000% if they are completely healthy. I mean, a completely healthy Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. even just that three trio alone, that could maybe get you in a 10 seeded spot, at least battling in the 11th spot for it. I think they should be a little bit up higher than this list. I mean, heck, even the Kings with De'Aaron Fox in the back, or with Halliburton, they still have Buddy Hield. They have that new rookie they just drafted in that draft. That guard rotation is deadly. So, I think maybe they should be, at least for the Kings, have a higher title odd, and definitely for the Timberwolves, I think they are definitely a better team. The next up at plus 15,000, we have the Washington Wizards, which, they do have, the best player that we've seen from this big group of the bottom feeders, I guess, with Bradley Beal. You could argue Karl-Anthony Towns, but Bradley Beal, an all-star, so I get that maybe that's why they put the Wizards a little bit higher, because they have a set all-star, but I don't know. I think I would rather have the trio of Cat and Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell than just having, the almost leading point per game scorer in the NBA and Bradley Beal, and then a bunch of just deep role players like Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, and all the guys they've already had on their team, Denny. Yikes. Then at plus 12,000, we have the Toronto Raptors. Yes, the team that just lost their GOAT, basically, in Kyle Lowry, the greatest player, at least meaningful-wise, in their team's history. That team is very interesting. That team I could see easily being, a battle-in, play-in spot, maybe even an 8 seed in the NBA playoffs, but I could also see them being a tanking, 13, 14 seed next year in the standings. So very interesting, because you still, obviously have Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, my boy Gary Trent Jr., and a lot of other good set role players. Like I said, the Raptors are either going to have a really good solid year or a bottom feeder in the NBA East. Those are my predictions. Next up at plus 10,000, we have another group of guys. The Hornets, the Pacers, and the Grizzlies, all grouped up in the same plus 10,000 championship odds. I don't know. I mean, if you ask anyone their opinion on the Pacers, it's probably different. Some people, praise the Pacers and Sabonis and DJ Warren and Malcolm Brogdon. It's a good squad when they're fully healthy. And then you have probably another group of people who think they're all just a bunch of mid-tier good role players, which is very true, I guess, also in this case. But man, I will say the Pacers are definitely the better team out of this group. I do love the Hornets, obviously, LaMelo Ball. The Grizzlies got the boy John Morant, but the Grizzlies didn't get any better. If anything, they got worse in this offseason. And the Hornets did get better for the future, obviously getting Bouknight and Trey Jones. That's his first name, right? I think it's Kai Jones. So they're good and set for the future, but as of right now, I think the Pacers are in a better spot to win the title. The Hornets did an amazing job this offseason for their future. Very excited where that goes, but I think, if anything, the Pacers should have maybe a little bit of a higher shot than at plus 9,000, so a little bit higher than the previous group. We have the New Orleans Pelicans. Very interesting. I mean, if you do have Zion Williamson, you're already in the right trajectory of winning a title, but a lot of people do sort of complain about the team that's built around Zion at the moment. I think they did a very good job with getting Valanciunas. I think they'll definitely help out the team, but Brandon Ingram as the duo with Zion, I don't think is the best fit. I think Ingram's more of a, ball dominant mid-range scorer. He's a good perimeter shooter, don't get me wrong, but I think maybe just a better guard would fit very well with Zion. I think if they can finesse like Bradley Beal from the Wizards to come for Brandon Ingram, I think that'd be great. Maybe even like a CJ McCollum for Brandon Ingram. I think money if you bet on your Knicks this year, but that's pretty good. They're sort of in that mid-tier sort of set of teams, which kind of makes sense. They are very much a mid-tier team. I do like how they got, Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier to sort of give them a little bit more offense, but with that, they're going to take a little bit from their defense, so maybe from being a really good defensive team to a pretty bad offensive team, they can sort of make it a little bit more even, so the Knicks next year could definitely be a good team. Are they going to be a 4 seed or a 5 seed like they were last year? Probably not. They're probably going to be, a 7th, 6th seed at 5th seed, 4th seed at best, but they're going to be a pretty, mid-tier team nonetheless, at least for title odd wise. And apparently, this is an updated list. This list is from 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, somewhere around there. They have the Chicago Bulls at plus 6,000, barely above the Knicks for title odds. Wow. I mean, I get it, this is a new team, and they're all still relatively young besides DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Kobe White, Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, even Vucevic is just barely getting into his prime. That team is still relatively long and going to be on their books for the next, 2 to 3 years. I think maybe in a year or two we can start really talking about them being true title contenders, but I think they should even now be a little bit higher up on this list. Because, yeah, they're barely, breaking a halfway point of the NBA for title odds. I don't know if I believe that. Above them, we have a group of 2 teams that I don't really know if they should be this high. We have the Boston Celtics and the Portland Trailblazers at plus 5,000. Wow. Above the Bulls, the Knicks, the Pacers. Interesting. I think the Bulls should definitely be ahead of arguably both these teams. Obviously, Boston are head and shoulders above Portland. I mean, you have 2 already established two-way players in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Pretty good set of guys around them with Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. That's right. So they have a couple good set pieces. Al Horford as well. Should be interesting to see how that team does. But also with Portland, I mean, who knows that team could look 1,000% flipped upside down before even the trade deadline is already done with. Because, I mean, Portland is definitely a team where if they go, 5 for 10, 10 for 20 in their first handful of games, which you can definitely come back and make a playoff spot with that. But, I mean, Damian Lillard is probably going to be checking this team every minute he can. And if they start slacking and they start falling, he might ask for a trade before the season's done and over with, so that could be very interesting. Same thing with CJ McCollum. They just re-signed Norman Powell to a 5-year deal. If I'm CJ, I'm almost guaranteeing myself out of there, so you've got to have a really good year, or you might be on your way out to, I don't know, Ben Simmons, like we talked about before with Brandon Ingram. Couple of handful of options you can go there, or maybe just a plethora of really solid role players to help out Damian Lillard on that team with. Could be very interesting. Boston is definitely above Portland on that one. At plus 3,500, we have the Atlanta Hawks, which is interesting because we all know the Hawks last year sort of had a Miami Heat of 2020 type of moment where they were just playing, hot basketball at the perfect spot in time, which is the NBA playoffs. Sure, their matchups were also pretty good, and obviously Trae Young is already a really good player, but I mean, this is definitely playing off how the Hawks played last year. They didn't jobs he had and sort of can get back to that old baby goat Tyler Hero we all know and love. Coach Spo. I mean, Miami's looking good. I would definitely put them above Dallas, maybe even a couple spots up. We'll get into that, but Miami in a good spot, sort of in that upper echelon of NBA talent. Then at plus 2,500, we have the LA Clippers, which, if you know, Kawhi is going to be out for, man, maybe half the year, more than half the year. Is that enough time for Kawhi to get sort of established and ready for a title run? I'm not entirely sure, so maybe that also might be kind of controversially high, but I mean, if Kawhi's healthy, that Clipper team is deadly, deadly, deadly good, so they're probably betting on Kawhi having a good year. Denver Nuggets up next at plus 2,200. Ooh, man, I mean, a fully healthy Denver Nuggets team with, Murray and Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, that could be a very good squad. Plus, I think they added Jeff Green to the squad as well. They brought back everyone else. That's interesting. I definitely like that. I think that is maybe like a perfect spot because they're right above the Clippers, who are going to have a hurt Kawhi, but right below the Philadelphia 76ers at plus 1,800, which I think is a good spot for Denver. But going up, the 76ers, obviously, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, one of the best trios in the entire NBA. You got an MVP candidate, David's Player of the Year candidate, and a really good third option who can score, 30 points any given night. That is a really good squad. Plus, I think they also just got Andre Drummond off the bench. Whew, man, just add some shooters, and that team's looking really good. So, I'm liking the 76ers a lot in that spot right there. I think they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are 7th. Not bad. Then at 6, we have the Utah Jazz at plus 1,600, right above them. The Utah Jazz, man, plus, I think that's an okay spot for the Jazz. I mean, again, they didn't get any better. They just retained a lot of people. I think Donovan Mitchell is guaranteed to have a very good year this year, and then Rudy Gobert even last year in the playoffs showed that he can actually have a little bit of a contribution on the offensive end when he wants to be, so not bad. But also paired up with the Utah Jazz at plus 1,600 are the Phoenix Suns. Are the Phoenix Suns and Utah Jazz in the same spot? Maybe. Obviously, just with, retaining everyone and having that finally some playoff experience, NBA Finals experience for Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. That team's going to probably look a lot more mature going into next year. You could definitely argue them being higher up on the list, but definitely I think the odds should be different. I think the Suns would have just at least better odds in this. Maybe not, a different spot, but better odds. At the 4 spot, we have at plus 900. So maybe if the Phoenix Suns were like maybe plus 1,000, plus 1,100, I think that'd make a little bit more sense. But anyways, the Milwaukee Bucks are plus 900 in this upcoming year. Obviously, the defending NBA champions. They had a lot of things fall their way going into this, only having to go up against the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA Conference Finals, getting past a hurt Brooklyn Nets team, the Miami Heat just crapping the bed in the first round. The Bucks definitely had, I don't want to say an easy, fight to the finals, but definitely not what we truly wanted to see out of the NBA playoffs, so we're definitely going to see it this year. Are they battle tested if winning that title to hopefully help them mature, get better, and see their true potential? I think that'd be really cool to see. At number 3, at plus 800, we have the Golden State Warriors. Yes, the third best title odds in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors. Do you believe that? Leave it down in the comments. I mean, Clay coming off the injury, Draymond Green not really being Draymond Green anymore, but we still have MVP candidate Steph Curry, a really good young up-and-coming bench and roster. Man, are they ready for another title run? They are third in NBA title odds. That's kind of crazy. That might be a little too high, honestly. I think Klay Thompson was just announced to have his return on Christmas Day, so hopefully that gives him enough time to sort of get NBA playoff ready. Then, yes, the top 2 teams, the Nets and the Lakers. Who is number 1? 380, and the Nets are a plus 220, so it's close. And I think it is close because we just haven't seen the Lakers play yet. I think maybe these odds could change in the first handful of games, and just seeing how the Lakers play, if they look good against their competition, I think they might be able to switch these and make the Lakers number one. But as of right now, they are definitely the biggest of the question marks. Maybe in the entire NBA, definitely in the sort of title favorite teams, that's for sure. And then the Nets, they didn't really, do a whole lot in free agency. They did add Patty Mills to the team, which is kind of nice, and then also, keeping Blake Griffin, and I think his name's Bruce Brown or something like that, some role player who came off the bench for them that was actually playing pretty well. As long as they're healthy, they are going to be the number one team ranked in the NBA, so that's all you gotta wait up for them. So, for me personally, I think my top title favorites, the ASMballeR top title favorites, I think if the Nets are healthy, of course. If the Lakers can figure out how to play together, that's for sure. I would actually go Bucks, Phoenix, then I would go Warriors, I would go Sixers, because I think that awkwardness with Ben Simmons, that might be some team chemistry you might not be able to repair at all, so I might knock them down a little bit, a couple spots. And then I'd probably go Denver, Utah, and then maybe Clippers. Denver, Utah, and the Clippers are all going to be mismatchy because, again, Kawhi, no idea. Jamal Murray's also coming off a big injury. I have no idea what to do with Utah. I think that whole jumble of last guys are all kind of in the same spot. So those are definitely my top NBA title favorite teams. So yeah, definitely let me know down in the comments if your favorite teams spot